And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you. Aquaba, welcome. Welcome to another round of Conscious Rasta Report here on LIB Radio, LIB TV here on livinginblack.com. My name is Kedia Wadu, aka the Conscious Rasta. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Monday. This is the 9th day of June, 2024, 2025 in the Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on the LIB Radio, LIB TV, and on livinginblack.com. Doing the best we can to stay excited about what is happening in the world. I'm going to be doing the best I can today, tomorrow, all this week, and probably next week too, to stay positive. Stay positive. Yeah, there's some horrible news stories out here. We could go into Elon Musk and Donald Trump and South Africa and all of the above. We could go into the riots / protests taking place in Los Angeles this week, for which the National Guard and the has been called out. And Donald Trump, I mean, he in himself, we could go there, but I don't want to. I refuse because I know the secret. And you need to know the secret as well. We should all know the secret, because the secret is there is great reason to be optimistic today. So that's what it is today here on LIB Radio. We are optimistic. I'm optimistic. Oh, yeah. We are optimistic about what is going on the motherland, on our mother continent. And we're going to do the best we can to present just wonderful information to each and every one of you. So this is why you are going to keep tuning in to LIB Radio. This is why you're going to be tuning in tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and every day, because we know the secret. Let me let you in on it. Today on LIB Radio, we're going to showcase 10 African stories relating to economic growth and independence. Today on LIB Radio, we look at 10 stories from Africa that point to the tremendous financial changes taking place on the continent. There should be no doubt in our minds that this points to a much more prosperous future just around the corner. What will we do to support and extend this phenomenal growth? And how can our skills and talents acquired over the past 400 years finally become useful in the global competition over Africa's resources? There is great reason to be optimistic. Let me just get you to type in that message. There is great reason to be optimistic. And put as many exclamation points on that as you would choose. There is great reason to be optimistic. So that's what we are discussing today here on LIB Radio. And if you do feel optimistic, if you do feel like you know the big secret, then I want to hear from you because I've got great news. Let's go into number one. Now, those of you who tuned in yesterday to the mastermind, you heard me list the first four of these great reasons that I am optimistic. At the end of the show, we went into four of them, and I see you in the house for Africa One. Hotep, Brother Kiti, and Global LIB family. Hotep to you. Greetings, my beloved sister. What a joy. What a joy it is to say your name for Africa One. My sister Shingai. What a joy it is to have you in the house. Let's go forward. We're going to go into the fifth story, and then I'm going to repeat the first four stories afterwards. Now, this is quite extensive. We're going to do the best we can to keep it right on track. This story comes to us from Cape Town, South Africa. The story is Cape Town emerges as a leading tech and innovation hub. Cape Town's innovation surged from seaside city to global startup hub. And I'm going to share this link with you all in case you do want to know what it says as well. I'm going to share that in two places here. Actually, share it in more than two places. I'm going to put it up on my Facebook page as well. And let's go into this conversation. Cape Town is rapidly solidifying its position as one of Africa's foremost centers for startups and innovation. The city's blend of world-class universities, thriving research institutions, and access to skilled talent has cultivated a dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem that is increasingly attracting attention from both domestic and international investors. Often referred to as the Silicon Cape, the city is home to a growing number of high growth tech companies, tech startups, particularly in fintech, healthcare, education technology, and green technology. Institutions like the University of Cape Town and Stellenbosch University play a critical role in nurturing talent and fueling innovation through research, incubation programs, and industry partnerships. So that is the introduction to that story. Now I'm going to go into, I have the story over here, and let's go to that particular story. It is Silicon Cape. Cape Town emerges as a leading tech, and this is from June 2023. Cape Town is rapidly solidifying its position as one of Africa's foremost centers for startups and innovation. The city's blend of world-class universities, thriving research institutions, and access to skilled talent has cultivated a dynamic entrepreneurial, and bear with me, I had to change screens, and cultivated a dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem that is increasingly attracting attention from both domestic and international investors. Often referred to as the Silicon Cape, the city is home to a growing number of high growth tech startups, particularly in fintech, healthcare, edtech, and green tech. Institutions, I just mentioned that, I just read this, I'm going to skip forward. Cape Town's appeal also lies in its quality of life, supportive policy environment, and a maturing network of venture capital firms, angel investors, and accelerators. This has led to a noticeable influx of international capital, positioning the city as a gateway for global investors looking to tap into Africa's tech potential. However, despite this impressive growth, challenges remain. The city must address structural inequalities and ensure industry inclusivity across the tech ecosystem. That means you and me. We don't wait for them to include us. We include ourselves. We invite ourselves to the party. While innovation hubs and co-working spaces continue to flourish in wealthier areas, many communities remain excluded from opportunities due to a lack of access to digital infrastructure, funding, and mentorship. I know a place where you can find a whole bunch of mentors right here in this country. Bridging this digital divide will be essential for the long-term sustainability of Cape Town's tech economy. Strengthening public-private partnerships, investing in township tech hubs, and where are we at? Doggone it, I get excited and take my eyes off of it. Strengthening private-public partnerships, investing in township tech hubs, and implementing inclusive innovation policies could ensure that the city rise benefits a broader cross-section of its population. So as the African tech landscape evolves, Cape Town stands out as a beacon of innovation, poised to shape the continent's digital future if it can pair growth with equitable access. That was a pretty good article. I'm going to go to the next article we have up here. Standard & Poor's Global Ratings have an optimistic view of South Africa's future. And that's the next one on here on my list. I'm going to post this out because I do want all of you in on the big secret. I want you, to the best of your abilities, to be as aware on these critical stories as I am. We can do this, people. So here we are. I'm going to paste it one more time here on my Facebook page, and let's do this thing. Where are we at? We are on this. Here we go. S&P Global Ratings retain optimistic view of South Africa's economy. This story is, it appears on, what's the website? Africa.com. I just posted up the link. S&P Global Ratings has reaffirmed a positive outlook for South Africa's economy, spotlighting the country's structural strengths and sound fiscal management. At the S&P Capital Markets Conference in Johannesburg, the agency's president praised Africa's investment potential and highlighted that it will outperform advanced economies, which are projected to see lower growth. While South Africa's growth is forecast at just 1 to 1.5%, and that's very low for an African nation, experts express cautious optimism, citing diplomatic efforts to negotiate lower tariffs with the United States and policy reforms under the government of national unity. Analysts also highlight opportunities through strategic alliances and domestic funding that reduce foreign risk exposure. However, sluggish growth means that structural reforms, especially around state-owned enterprises and the labor market, are needed to unlock real momentum. So that is that particular story. That one again comes to us from Africa.com, and we do include that in our research. Let's go forward. Story number 3 coming up. I hope you like this one. I do like this one a lot. This is from All Africa. No, not All Africa, from Africa.com. Now, I want to say this. Not all of this research that I'm citing today is necessarily written by Africans to enlighten and uplift Africans. I may do a story a little bit, maybe this week, on where do you and I get reliable, truth-worthy African news. Now, I do know that Africa.com is not owned by Black people, unless it's been changed hands recently. Africa.com is not owned by Black people. Not saying that if Black people own it, we should trust it. I know that not to be true as well. So we're doing the best we can to have a broad reach of information so that we can confirm what is happening on our continent. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to post this up on the Facebook page, and I'm going to post this up on the Rumble page. And I'm going to post it up a third time on the YouTube page. And let's get this party started again. This article entitled Casablanca's Financial Hub Aims to Lead Africa's Growth Revolution. And here's what it has to say. Casablanca is blending its historic trading legacy with futuristic ambition through its rising financial district. The Casablanca Finance City, CFC. Since its 2010 debut, the hub has attracted over 240 global firms, including Huawei and Schneider Electric, becoming a magnet for investment and innovation across Africa. Backed by Morocco's stability, a generous tax regime, and a strategic location, CFC aims to accelerate Africa's regional integration through initiatives tied to the African Continental Free Trade Area. Yet, challenges linger, from trade imbalances to persistent bureaucracy across the continent. Still, with projects in AI, carbon trading, and infrastructure funding underway, Casablanca is positioning itself as a model African gateway for sustainable growth, pan-African growth, even amid global trade upheaval. And that story comes to us from allafrica.com. It was originally in The Guardian, the British newspaper. And like I say, we should be skeptical. I do highly encourage you and I to be skeptical and confirm these stories. The Capital Finance City, CFC, we should look further into it. I like that idea. I like Morocco, but we do want to confirm the story. Next one, we're going to go to the African Development Bank. Now, this one is a longer link, and I'm going to paste this up in two parts so that it all fits into what you and I are looking for. I'm going to paste it up in two parts, and here is what this one is about. The African Development Bank wins infrastructure deal of the year for Egypt's mega wind project. That is the total of the article, and I'm going to paste it up here. Have to do this. Paste and cut off the first half of it. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Paste and cut off the first half of it. And then on my Facebook page, I can just paste it up because Facebook allows me to post a longer hyperlink. And here's what this particular article has to say. Again, it's entitled African Development Bank Wins Infrastructure Deal of the Year for Egypt's Mega Wind Project. And here's what it has to say. The African Development Bank was awarded top place in the Infrastructure Deal of the Year category for 2025 by the African Banker Awards in recognition of its pivotal role in financing the transformational 1.1 gigawatt Suez wind power project in Egypt, the largest wind energy project in Africa to date. Situated in the Gulf of Suez, the project is being developed by Suez Wind Energy SAE, a special purpose vehicle formed by ACWA Power and HUA Energy BV, a consortium comprising Hassan Alam Utilities, Meridiam, and EBRD, with Oman Investment Authority and the Sovereign Fund of Egypt as equity partners. The 1.1 gigawatt wind farm will incorporate 138 Envision turbines, each boasting an 8 megawatt capacity, marking the inaugural deployment of this advanced wind technology in Africa. The award, announced during the Bank Group's 2025 annual meetings held in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, celebrates the bank's leadership and innovative approach in mobilizing $140 million in financing for the landmark $1.04 billion project. This transaction is recognized as a model for reshaping Africa's renewable energy landscape through strategic financial engineering and collaborative partnerships. Dr. Rania A. Al-Mashat, Minister of Planning, Economic Development, and International Cooperation in Egypt, said, quote, "The Suez 1.1 gigawatt wind power plant project stands as a powerful example of what national commitment and strong partnerships can achieve. As the largest wind energy project in Egypt and one of the largest in Africa, it reflects the strength of Egypt's country platform under the NWFE program's energy pillar." She added, "Receiving international recognition from the African Banker Awards and EMEA Finance not only underscores the scale and impact of this endeavor, but also reinforces Egypt's commitment to delivering clean, reliable, and affordable energy while advancing our climate goals under the Paris Agreement," unquote. Wani Shinobari, African Development Bank Director for Energy Financial Solutions, Public and Regulation, noted, quote, "The Suez Wind Project exemplifies what can be achieved through strong partnerships, rigorous due diligence, and innovative financial structuring. It demonstrates that Africa's ability to lead in deploying complex renewable energy technologies at scale." And I just want to take a second here and remind everybody that this is our intention with the Kujichagulia villages, is that each Kujichagulia village will be, to the best of our abilities, off the national grid. We want to start developing the villages from the beginning with wind turbine energy, with solar technology, both thermal and photovoltaic. We want to incorporate, what's it called? It's when your waste is turned into gas. We want to incorporate, I'll think of what the term is, but we'll incorporate all of this at the beginning. We want to incorporate growing algae for biomass, or biomass. That was what I was looking for. Turn your biomass into methane gas, turning algae into methane gas. And so I am not ignoring this. I like the idea of a 1.1 gigawatt arrangement. Now that was 138, I think they said, a number of different wind turbine infrastructures. That's a huge amount. If we could deploy 1/10 of that amount, 13, 14 of them, we would be doing ourselves a great, great justice. So who out there amongst us, who out there listening right now, listening to this with the idea in mind that I am the one he is talking to. I am the one to incorporate this information. We need to be directing this toward our millennial and Gen Z populations. We can do this. These are Africans doing it. So we're going to be doing it as well. I'm going to go forward. Jing Li, Division Manager, Energy Financial Solutions, African Development Bank, said the transaction marked the third successful collaboration following the Redstone 100 megawatt CSP in South Africa and the Ombo 200 megawatt solar photovoltaic project in Egypt. We are immensely proud of our achievements and look forward to scaling up to our partnerships to electrify Africa with cleaner, more resilient energy systems, unquote, she said. Beyond financing, the African Development Bank played a pivotal role in navigating and overcoming the unique challenges of this pioneering project. These included ensuring environmental protection in areas vital for bird migration, managing macroeconomic volatility, and integrating untested turbine technologies. The bank also supported the integration of robust environmental safeguards, including advanced bird monitoring systems and strategic turbine placement, thereby ensuring a sustainable balance between energy development and conservation. Once operational in 2027, the wind farm will generate approximately 4.111 gigawatt per hour of clean electricity annually. Okay, that's not gigawatt per hour, that's gigawatt. 4.111 gigawatts annually, sufficient to power over 1 million households and concurrently offsetting 1.71 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions per year. Furthermore, the project is expected to create 1,425 full-time and 315 part-time jobs during its construction phase, with a strong emphasis on youth employment and gender inclusion. The African Development Bank has been a strong partner to Egypt's energy sector. Over the past decade, it has supported the energy transition in Egypt through a series of non-sovereign investments in renewable energy projects, including 3 projects in the Ben Ban Solar Park and the Ombo 200 megawatt solar power plant. This recognition highlights the African Development Bank's pivotal role in driving Africa's clean energy transition and underscores its dedication to promoting sustainable development in alignment with Mission 300 and the High 5 priorities. Mission 300 and the High 5 priorities. I need to know what those are. So here, 1 second, I'm gonna just take a slight deviation here, and I'm gonna go into a AI search engine. I'm gonna go to Brave. That's my favorite for great reasons. And Brave has a bunch of stuff in it from the other day when I was researching about military drones. And I'm going to take all of that out of here, and I'm going to put in this search. Bear with me. This is a lot of stuff. Kitty was doing a lot of research on military drones, and I'm going to put in this one. And it is Mission 300 and the High 5 priorities. Mission 300 is an initiative aimed at expanding access to 300 million people in Africa by 2030. Focused on reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy solutions. While the context does not explicitly mention the High 5 priorities, These priorities are central to the African Union's strategic framework for socio-economic development. They align closely with the goals of Mission 300, particularly in areas as integrated high-speed rail networks, industrialization, and improved quality of life through better access to energy and infrastructure. The high five priorities include one, integrating Africa, promoting regional integration and infrastructure development to enhance connectivity and trade across the continent. Two, industrialize Africa, fostering industrial growth and competitiveness to boost economic diversification and job creation. Three, improve the quality of life for the people of Africa, enhancing living standards through improved access to basic services, healthcare, education, and energy. Four, feed Africa, ensuring food security and agricultural productivity to sustainably feed the continent's growing population. And five, light up and power Africa, addressing the energy deficit by increasing access to electricity and promoting sustainable energy solutions. Mission 300 directly supports the Light Up and Power Africa priority by aiming to improve electricity to millions of people who currently lack access. This initiative is crucial for improving the quality of life for Africans and fostering economic growth and development across the continent. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. In fact, I'm going to take that with me. I'm going to take this with me to Ghana this fall. So the Mission 300, especially the high five priorities. Now let me just real quickly, if you don't mind, I'm going to paste this into a place for the Kujichagulia villages. I'm going to paste this into the abstract. And bear with me, it's only going to take a second for this Microsoft Word document to open. And then we're going to go back and we're going to go back to our 10 priority articles and end and paste this in here. And there it is. Good, good, good. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Hey, tell me, what do you think about what we are up to today? Do you like what you hear? I hope you do. Let's just take a moment here and make sure we have any comments for Africa One. Is the greening of the Sahel and Sahara part of Africa's growth revolution? Absolutely yes. The building of this big green belt across Central Africa that's bucking up right up against the Sahara and is intended to grow into the Sahara, into the desert. And the technology is existent now. China has proven it, as China is recovering many millions of hectares in the Gobi Desert. So Africa can use that Chinese model that dynamically to encroach upon the Sahel. I love it, love it, love it. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that is part of our mission. With the Kujichagulia villages. Now, I will say the first 3 villages are intended to be built in Africa's existing green belt. That is Ghana, Kenya, Uganda. The 4th one, I am imagining, would be in the Sahel Confederation. And that would be in Burkina Faso. These are ideas that I've been kicking around in my head. All of these ideas are going to cost millions of dollars to implement. The money for the first 1, 2, or 3 is going to be $6 million. I'm not so scared of the money. What I am afraid of is non-cooperation. Non-cooperation from people of African descent. That will kill the project. That will kill the project. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. Are my people going to do it? Because my people seem to be so reluctant. I'm not talking about you, but our people seem to be so reluctant to change direction, to do what is best in their own best self-interest. So we're going to do the best we can. That's a great question. It's a provocative question too. And I really appreciate provocative questions, just like you asked. We're next going to go forward to, that was the AFDB. The next one is entitled Country Platforms, the New Frontier for Development Finance in Post-Aid Landscape. With so that's the title. Let me give you the link. The New Development Frontier Finance in a Post-Aid Landscape. I'm going to copy, cut, and paste this one on Rumble. I'm going to paste it on my Facebook page. And one more place I'm going to paste it is up on YouTube. Now, YouTube family, are you in the house today? I hope you are. I'm not getting any response from the YouTube family, but I hope you are in the house today. If you are, you gotta let your brother know. Let's go into the story. Now, I keep forgetting how many pages I'm on. I'm on a bunch of different websites right now. I did look up the Mission 300, and that was the last thing we did. And I'm going to pull this one up right now. We are on, the article is from Africa.com. Country Platforms, the New Frontier for Development Finance in a Post-Aid Landscape. With foreign aid dwindling, country platforms are emerging as transformative tool for global development finance, especially in Africa. These government-led vehicles align national priorities with climate goals and investment opportunities. Unlike donor-driven projects, which are usually fragmented, country platforms offer targeted solutions. Already in motion across countries like South Africa, Egypt, and Senegal, country platforms show promise in mobilizing climate finance, fostering structural reforms, and attracting private capital. A popular example is Mission 300, a joint project by the World Bank, African Development Bank, and other partners, which leverages national scale units to achieve the initiative's goal of electrifying Africa. With strong leadership, data-driven planning, and institutional capacity achieved through smart investment and debt management, country platforms could finally match Africa's urgent development needs with global climate finance flows. So that's a very, very important thing. I want to just have a little bit more and talk a little bit more about country platforms in Africa. So I'm just going to copy country platforms. I'm going to go back to my Brave, and I'm going to talk about country platforms. What are country platforms in Africa? That's the question I'm asking of it, and it's going to give me an answer, and this is what it says. Country platforms in Africa. Country platforms in Africa are government-led mechanisms that align national development priorities with the interests of development partners and investors, aiming to foster strategic investment in sectors such as renewable energy and resilient infrastructure. These platforms are designed to mobilize finance from developed countries to help developing countries advance both their national development priorities and international climate goals. Several African countries have launched or are exploring country platforms. South Africa's Just Energy Transition Partnership, GETP, is a notable example, demonstrating both the potential and complexity of such platforms. Other countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, and Senegal have also initiated JETPs. Egypt and Senegal have country platforms at different stages of implementation, while Kenya and Nigeria are exploring similar mechanisms. These platforms aim to address the challenges faced by African countries in delivering their nationally determined contributions, NDCs, under the Paris Agreement, often constrained by investment, by fiscal limitations. By bringing together a country's climate priorities, investment needs, and reform agenda, country platforms seem to attract more private investment for climate action and align it with national development goals. For Mission 300, for instance, Mission 300, an initiative involving the World Bank and African Development Bank, among others, uses compact delivery and monitoring units, especially country platforms, to connect millions of people to clean electricity by 2030. 12 African countries are already moving in this direction, highlighting the potential impact of well-structured country platforms. However, the success of these platforms depends significantly on how well they fit into the specific national context, including issues of inclusivity, stakeholder engagement, and alignment with broader development objectives. For example, South Africa faced challenges due to competing priorities between domestic stakeholders and international donors, leading to uncertainties in the allocation of funds and the implementation of policies. Overall, country platforms represent a promising model for aligning national development priorities with climate goals, particularly in the context of shifting from traditional aid to strategic investment frameworks. I like that. I like it a lot. That is what the answer to the question, what are country platforms in Africa? And don't you know, I got to take this with me to Africa as well. Let's see if we can just paste this up. And that's not going to work. We're copying. And now paste this up. There we go. Let's keep going. We're on a roll, everybody. I hope you appreciate, love what we are doing today. The next one we're going to pull up, Green Flare, which is a private corporation, a private company, turns Nigeria's waste into crypto mining power in billion-dollar opportunity. I like this story. I'm not much into crypto mining, but I do know that one of the problems with crypto mining is the energy use in crypto mining. Well, now they've turned waste into gold. Green Flare turns Nigeria's wasted gas into digital gold. This is a good story. I'm going to post this up for everybody wishing to get the link. And where are we at? We're here. We are pasting. I'm going to post it up for our YouTube family. I'm going to post it up for our Facebook family. And once again, I'm going to post this up for my Rumble family. And double check, see if there's anybody else joining in the conversation today. I guess it's just you and I, Sister for Africa One. We do the best we can to do the best we can. And then we encourage people, we can do better than that. Yes, we can. And we then go to the next phase. We're into the story. Here's what this story has to say. And here we are. This is from techcabal.com. Again, the story, Green Flare turns Nigeria's waste gas into crypto mining power in $1 billion opportunity, written by Ganyu Oloruntade, June 5th, 2025. The story reads as such. In Nigeria's oil-rich Delta region, a new startup is turning a decades-old environmental problem into a digital opportunity. Green Flare Holdings, a climate tech infrastructure company, will convert flares, gas emissions from oil fields usually burned into the atmosphere, into electricity for data centers. The plan? Start with Bitcoin mining and scale to powering artificial intelligence and high performance computing. What we've come up with is a really first of its kind approach, said Charles Majomi, co-founder of Green Flare. We're taking gas that is normally flared associated gas and turning it into power to drive data centers that mine Bitcoin at scale in the heart of the Niger Delta. Bitcoin mining is the process of verifying and recording transactions on the Bitcoin network by solving complex cryptographic puzzles, which secures the blockchain and releases new Bitcoins as a reward for miners. This process requires vast computational power and, as a result, consumes significant amounts of energy. Traditionally, mining operations rely on electricity from the grid, but flare gas, a byproduct of oil extraction that is often burned off as waste due to a lack of pipelines or commercial uses, offers a novel alternative. Instead of allowing this gas to go to waste to pollute the atmosphere, Green Flare partners with upstream oil and gas producers to capture it, converts it into electricity using mobile gas generators, and uses that energy to power Bitcoin mining servers directly on site. A $1 billion opportunity buried in Nigeria's waste gas. Flare gas has long symbolized Nigeria's environmental challenges and energy paradox. The country flares up to 1 billion standard cubic feet of gas daily. I'll repeat, the company flares up to $1 billion standard cubic feet, 1 billion standard cubic feet of gas daily, enough to generate between 5 and 9 gigawatts of power, dwarfing the country's actual on-grid output. Oil and gas companies in Nigeria flared gas worth $485.3 million in the first half of 2023. Quote, "The waste is astronomical," unquote, said Green Flare's co-founder and CFO, Joseph Lassen. If we commercialize even 5% of Nigeria's flares, we're looking at $1 billion opportunity. Scale that, and it's tens of billions. The company is building 3 sites in Delta State with a combined potential capacity of 5.3 megawatts. It'll start with Bitcoin mining, which is easier to deploy and monetize, then scale to more intensive computing network workloads like AI and cloud services. It's a model pioneered in the US by companies like Crusoe Energy, Marathon Digital, and Giga Energy. But Green Flare says Nigeria has even more to gain. We're transforming wasted energy into productive assets, reducing emissions, and proving that Nigeria can lead Africa in clean distributed computing, said Adeyoye Fadebi, CEO of Green Flare Technologies. And the story goes on and on and on. I did put up the link to it. So if you want more of that story, then definitely you do want to check it out. I'm going to start moving a little quicker. I've got 4 more stories I'm going to do. And these are the very same 4 stories that I started yesterday. We shared of them on the mastermind. Number 1, or this is the 4 of the 4. Number 1, Africa can unlock $1.1 trillion investment capital for growth. And let me put up the link to where you can have it. Africa can tap $1.1 trillion. That's a lot of money for investment growth. I'm going to paste that here. It's also going to go over here. And on my Facebook page, here is where it is. Let's do this story. Africa holds a massive $1.1 trillion in capital, in untapped capital through institutional investors, according to the Africa Finance Corporation's latest State of Africa Infrastructure Report. These funds, mostly from pensions, insurance firms, and sovereign wealth funds, remain locked in low-risk, short-term investments, thereby missing opportunities to drive real economic growth. In total, the continent has nearly $4 trillion in domestic capital, yet regulatory gaps and limited financial instruments hinder large-scale mobilization. While countries like South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya are making gradual progress with channeling services or savings to development, the pace remains sluggish. Meanwhile, many countries on the continent lack investment in critical sectors like energy and transport. Africa can tap $1.1 trillion for growth. That's pretty awesome. Now, I know there was more to that story, and let me just give you just a little bit more. It says the AFC. Let me go into this story right here. The African Finance Corporation, the AFC, estimates that $455 billion of the capital sits in pension funds, while $1.5 billion is held by sovereign wealth funds. Together with commercial bank assets and foreign currency reserves, the continent holds some $4 trillion in domestic capital, the lender said. Still, most African nations lack the regulatory clarity and financial instruments needed to redirect capital flows, the AFC said, adding that the vacuum is one of the biggest barriers to mobilizing domestic capital at scale. South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya are among a small group that have begun to align savings with development needs. The lender still said, progress is slow. Nigeria's pension exposure to infrastructure has grown from less than 0.02% to 1% of total assets since 2017. Many countries on the continent still lack critical investments in energy, rail, and transport. In 2024, Africa added just 6.5 gigawatts of grid-connected electricity from all sources, compared to over 18 gigawatts from renewable energy alone in India the lender said. So Africa, from all sources, hydro, coal, gas, wherever, added 6.5 gigawatts for 55 countries. But India, from renewable energy, added over 18 gigawatts, 3 times that amount India added from renewable energy alone. Hey, I'm not saying nothing negative about India. India is doing wonderful for India. It's time for we Africans to do for self. You think how much larger Africa is than India? We can do for self, but we got to be motivated and inspired. The next story, Moody's boosts Nigeria's credit rating as economic reforms show promise. This article I have up here, I'm going to post this up here on the user site. Now, I'm posting this stuff up not for my own self-aggrandizement. I'm posting it up so people will pay attention to what I'm sharing today. 10 critical African stories. This is very, very necessary for us to understand. Maybe we can get our people to stop focusing in on these crazy and fake news broadcasts on YouTube. This is not a fake news broadcast today on YouTube. I am putting it up on YouTube, and I want to compete against those fake news broadcasts. There are so many of them now. There are so many fake news broadcasts on YouTube. The story of the coup d'etat in Cote d'Ivoire. Our people hung on to that for a week or two, and some people still haven't let go of it. It was fake. I would say most of those broadcasts that are here purporting to talk about Ibrahim Traore, who we love Ibrahim Traore, but a lot of them are fake news. Anything that has him speaking to the camera in English, it's fake. Any references to Ibrahim Traore's wife is fake news. So we are here as an alternative. I'm doing the best I can to separate fake news from real African development. But you guys got to cooperate. My Facebook inbox is filled all day long with these fake news stories. And I'm tired of telling people, stop sending me this stuff. I could just go through it. I could just go through it right now and probably find you Marcus Garvey speaking to the people. This is not Marcus Garvey. This is, what's the other brother's name? I can't remember his name. I'll know in a second because he's now become an ancestor. Yeah, I can't remember his name. But it's not fake news, but it is an actor. Of course, obviously, Marcus Garvey has made his transition. I don't have time for that right now. I really don't. So if I tell people, stop sending me this stuff, they're going to send it anyway. So we just do the best we can. I'm going to continue. We got 2 more stories, how African brands can win back market share from Western rivals. That's one of the 2 I'm going to share. I'm going to post this link up here. I'm going to post this link up on YouTube. I'm going to post it up on my Rumble. And I'm going to post it up on Facebook. I should just post it up to the person who sent me that negative. I'm going to post it up to the last person who just sent me some fake news from Africa. And maybe he will, or maybe he won't even care about it. I doubt it. But, you know, we do the best we can. Even for people who are obsessed with fantasy, I'll do the best I can to inform them as well. Here's the story, how African brands can win back market share from Western rivals. Despite $3.5 trillion in potential from the African Continental Free Trade Area and pockets of excellence in fashion, fintech, and media, African brands remain overshadowed by Western ones. Now, here, real quickly, can I get it? It's not the same story. Here it is. African, close it. African brands remained overshadowed by Western ones. The fierce competition between African brands and their Western counterparts has left many local companies struggling to find their footing in a world where globalization often tilts the scales in favor of long established giants. How can African brands not only survive, but thrive? The challenges of brand presence in Africa. Ikala Ikalafeng, the founder of Brand Africa, challenges the notion that this is Tebe Ikalafeng, a branding expert who spent over 15 years pondering this crucial question. He challenges the notion that Africa is merely the next frontier for foreign brands. After launching the annual Brand of Africa 100 in 2011, which ranks brands based on their influence with African consumers, he has uncovered a stark reality. Foreign brands dominate the African market. Ikalafeng asserts that the first mover advantage of these brands, combined with their extensive resources, leaves African brands at significant disadvantage. He states, they have invested heavily to find a way into our mouths, our minds, and our money. The entrenched belief that the West is best persists, resulting in externalization of African profits. Ooh, boy, isn't that so true. Ooh, hurdles for African brands in their own markets, access and resources. Ikalafeng points out that the immense barriers to entry that local brands face, even within their own countries. While foreign brands enjoy robust distribution networks and strong production capabilities, African brands often lack these fundamental resources. The barrier is money, he emphasizes, illustrating the financial constraints hindering local ambitions. Cultural influence and consumer perception. The global reach of technology and media has opened the gates to foreign cultures, leaving many Africans mesmerized by Western products rather than valuing our own. Through local brands, though local brands may suffice for essential goods like food, when it comes to status symbol purchases, non-local brands reign supreme. For many, the label carries more weight than the origin. There are few more headings of the problem: crisis of identity, valuing African culture. We know that's a crisis of identity. Opportunities for local brands. He talks about the African Continental Free Trade Area. Despite the hurdles, Ikalafeng sees bright spots on the horizon. Initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area aim to consolidate the continent's economy, creating a consumer base of 1.4 billion, which is now 1.54 billion, and a projected market worth $3.5 trillion. This presents unprecedented opportunities for local brands. One second. And then he says, learning from other nations. The key takeaway from countries like China and India is the importance of a national agenda for supporting local brands. China leveraged its size to nurture local industries, while India focused on technological innovation. Similar coordinated effort could yield beneficial results in Africa. Conclusion: embracing local potential. The path to restoring the prominence of African brands may be challenging, but it is not impossible. By acknowledging their cultural roots, supporting local enterprises, and fostering an environment conducive to growth, African brands reclaim market share from Western giants. As Ikalafeng eloquently puts it, Africa can't be kicking away the ladder from its own enterprises, just as they're emerging. A united effort to prioritize and protect local brands will pave the way forward. That's a very, very useful article. And the last article is Cote d'Ivoire launches Cote d'Ivoire launches Africa's first commodities exchange. And this is, again, a very important article. I hope you find it to be fascinating. You tell me whether I am on point here with today's broadcast. Cote d'Ivoire launches Africa's first commodities exchange, marking a major step toward modernizing regional trade. The exchange has attracted considerable interest, with over $54,000 worth of cashews, cola nuts, and maize exchanged within minutes of its opening. With the platform, which took 7 years to develop, Cote d'Ivoire aims to replace the informal trading practices in some of the region's countries with a regulated system that adapts to price fluctuations in some of the region's countries. Experts say that this shift is vital, especially for crops like cashews, which have short harvest windows, and maize, a key staple for food security. With cocoa, Cote d'Ivoire's top export, set to join the exchange later, this innovation could reshape the region's agricultural economy. And so that's a very, very positive thing. Let me see if there's any more to that. After 7 years in development, Cote d'Ivoire has launched West Africa's first agricultural commodities exchange, the Bourse des Matières Premières Agricoles, or BMPA. Officially opened on Wednesday, May 28 in the Ivorian economic capital, Abidjan. The exchange began formal trading on Friday with the aim of bringing transparency, structure, and improved income to the region's agricultural producers. The exchange's symbolic launch was swift and promising. In just 10 minutes, 89 tons of goods were traded, valued at nearly 31 million CFA francs, just under 50,000 pounds. For now, the platform lists 3 key products: raw cashew nuts, cola nuts, and maize, chosen for their strategic importance to the national economy. To mark the launch this week, the West African Economic and Monetary Union posted on X that the exchange marks a historic turning point for the Ivorian agricultural sector. So the BMPA reduces informal trading practices with a regulated platform, and the story goes on. We're going to wrap it up for today, as I'm rapidly losing my voice. And it's not losing, it's conflicting with the mucus from last night. But I gotta say, I am so wonderfully excited after sharing these stories with you. I'm feeling it. I can't wait to get to Africa. And I can't wait between here and Africa. There's going to be a lot of developments, and we're going to be on this real tight. We're going to be on these stories really tight. Now, I got to say, I drew all of these stories from my mailbox yesterday for Africa One. Definitely an interesting and informative program. Thank you so much, beloved. 10 stories for us to research and learn a lot more about. And I do contend that each of us should find a place, a serious place inside these changes happening on Africa. We should each find a place of specialty. All you got to do is just keep reading. Just keep reading it. When you find your place, then read all around it. Study everything you encounter on it until people can come to you for the state of the art information on that particular topic. I am using it right now. I'm focusing on media, on the villages, and on sustainable economic development, which includes renewable energy and includes agroeconomics and all of the above. Everything that I am doing here, I'm planning on doing on the continent. Use me as an example. Use me as an information source. I keep trying to restart the Pan-African development course that I was teaching on Friday nights. But people are really, really reluctant to join a course. It's kind of pathetic. I'm doing this with African Americans, Friday night course, but unfortunately, they not really interested. I'm not going to go negative. What I am going to do is stay on it. I'm going to stay on it with myself. It's working. It is working. So we're going to do the best we can. I'm going to promote a couple of books here today because these couple of books are very important, and I've got to figure out which ones I want to promote today because there's 4 of them, actually 5 of them, which jump out. Forged by Fire, Post-COVID African Sovereign and Post-COVID African Healthcare and Sovereign Development. This is a good book to promote today's conversation. This is the book I really want to promote. This is the new one out, The African Future, Empowering a United and Prosperous Africa for Future Generations. We're doing this for the children, for the future. The book, Futurenomics, came out in 2018. It's still state of the art, which talks much about positioning your enterprise to win in the new global environment. Disaster preparedness for World Wars 5 and 6. These have already started. These world wars are already started. Today's program was about the global corporate war against all of us, turning us all into consumers. They can defeat us if we are all one consumer block. They cannot defeat us if we refuse to cooperate. And then the other book I want to promote is Standard Omission, the African Scientific Roots of Greco-Roman Medicine. These books will all help you to arm yourself with the latest information. I do believe that the latest information will liberate us. So look for my books at http://KITI.biz/CRP 2012. That's where you're going to get my books from. And did I do it right? No, I didn't. I didn't even do that. Let's do this again. Look for my books at http://KITI.biz/CRP 2012. Now I know I did, no, that wasn't right. 2012, not 2011. So I know I did copy it all right that time. I'm going to paste this up on YouTube. I have it up on my LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, on my Rumble, and I'm going to paste this on the front page of my Facebook page. So don't say you didn't know that I sell the books. There's no excuse. No excuse. For Africa One, I know you know because she just sent me a note. I ordered your book the other day and I did see it come through. But a lot of you won't get the books. I'm going to keep supplying you this information. And I'm going to ask God. I'm going to ask God, ask Jesus to keep me in business. Meanwhile, we're just going to continue to do what we do when we get together with you to do what we do to the very best of our abilities. So if two people out there hear my plea and buy a book, that's better than none. If 10 people bought a book every day, that would be actually what the plan was for continuing this. 10 people buy a book. Go to Amazon. You can buy my books from Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk, Amazon in Spain, Amazon in Deutschland. Wherever you get your books from, I want to be there as well. So you've been tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. Tell your friends to tell their friends that we have our own now. And we're very, very proud of who we are, what we do, and who we are connected to on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and on your living in black.com family. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.